Hey, faculty and staff, and everyone that's teaching for us this semester. I'm doing another video now on what you need to do to get your course shell ready to open up for students. So hopefully this will be a fairly seamless process. There's some things I'm learning as I go along too that they've done in the shells. So anyway, the first place you need to go is in the menu bar here. The first thing you see is announcements. That's the screen I'm on right now. Click on faculty information. And I made the title of this blue because it has so much information that you need to change and know about. So anyway, what you need to do is click on, hover over that blue area. I'm getting the bar above it. But you want to come in to this little circle right here beside faculty information. Click on the arrow. You're going to hit edit and give it a second. And that's going to populate with this information where you can edit it in editable format. So what you're basically going to do is go in here and you're going to, where it says your name, take out your name by backspacing and put your name in, your email, your phone, and if you have an office with this, your office. If you have a classroom on a dual credit campus, it's fun to put there too. Then you're going to need to put in your office hours. Now, if you're an adjunct, you aren't required to maintain office hours. So in that box, you want to type something along the lines of, I don't keep office hours as I am an adjunct faculty member. However, you can reach me here, there. I used to, as an adjunct, try to hang around for 15 to 30 minutes after class. I always made my students know that that was a time they could find me. And if so, we have some commons areas. If you would like to have an area and to meet your students, we can find you a spot that is yours, not yours permanently, but a spot you could instruct them to go find you in. And then if you're an online instructor as well as teaching seated, you might have specific online office hours. So you want to write that in. Don't leave it just to say as needed. These charts can get a little funky with formatting, so tread carefully. If you have trouble, get in touch with your course specialist immediately. Then you're going to, Susie's done a great job of making this set up so that you can find the yellow sections and quickly just fill in the information that you need. So here where it says about your instructor, you're going to adapt that yellow field and fill in the blanks with the things that you want students to know for you. So that's where you say your name, your, however you wish to be contacted. Make sure they know that, what your preferences are, and then whatever else you want to say in there. Try to personalize it in that spot a little bit. You're going to put your preferred method of communication, so email, text, phone call, whatever it is that works best for you. Let them know that there, and you can put as much information in here as you need. The area will adapt to meet your needs. And then the rest of this is generated by the institution, so don't mess with the stuff below that. So another thing you're going to want to do is try to attach a picture of yourself and put it up. And I try to do that towards the top of the class shell, but you can put it wherever you want. But that helps your students get an idea of who you are. So that's the first step. And then once you do all of that, you're going to click submit up here in the right corner, and you're going to move on to the next thing. So we're going to walk through the syllabus here and just make sure the syllabus is going to double populate. So it populates in the syllabus as well as in the faculty information section. So I'm going to click on course information now. And then I'm going to click on course syllabus just to make sure that we're hitting the things we need. This should have automatically populated with what you just did. So now I just kind of want to walk through the syllabus and make sure that you understand everything that we have in case you want to make changes or something. This part where it says information about the course, this next section, that is actually not changeable. That's got all the outcomes and objectives, and it's written in the legalese we need it to be written in, so please leave that alone. For grading, the top part of this is absolutely non-negotiable. You cannot change those elements. However, I do want to, because it's standardized, so everybody's getting these grades and these weights, and you'll see that there's learning objectives tied to it. So you don't want to mess with that because it starts messing with the quality of the course. But down here, I do want to introduce you to a policy that we've adopted as a department you may not be aware of, and that is that you can assign a 1 to an assignment now. It's not a school-wide policy, it's just a departmental policy. But it's something that I encourage. If a student gives you an outline that's partway done or something's really rushed through and you know that they need to think through it more carefully, try to save this for the important assignments like a speech outline or a PowerPoint or a speech upload, a final exam, particularly those assignments that we're assessing. If they didn't do a very good job and you know they're capable of more, assign a 1. And then tell them, in the comments, you have this much time before you lose credit, but I want you to fix these specific things. And give them a chance to do that again. Unless you just feel it's a consistent problem with laziness or whatever. The point of the matter here is to give them a chance to revise and learn about the process of doing something better. It's especially important on the Freedom Writers assignment, 3 speeches, and the teamwork assignment, because those are all assessed. So please pay close attention to those. But anyway, that's where you would use that 1. And then they have instructions in their syllabi, reading, and quizzes to understand what that's all about. If you have a huge issue with that, please contact your course, Susie, for this semester, but your course specialist. Okay, so I'm going to then look at the student course participation, which is hang on a second here. I'm going to pause this. Not sure why that wasn't populating, but this is stuff from the institution that has to be included. So leave this part alone, but you might want to read over it when you have time, so you know what we're telling them. It's nothing new if you've been here for a while. It's been all of our syllabi. It's not. Wow, I'm starting to have some tech issues here. After you see student course participation, you're going to see course policies. If you have policies that are specific to your section, that is fine to add them somewhere in this section. But these ones that you see in place are either institutional or they are part of our normal process with the department. The one thing I would say is that if you look closely in general course requirements, here where it says submit assignments on time, this is a late work penalty that most of us are using in the department. We have not yet mandated that one. So if you want to have a different late work policy, you can, but there needs to be some kind of penalty for late work. I hate to say, encourage you to take it. If you've been getting by, if you've been teaching for us for a while, and you've got a system that's working and you're not getting a lot of failures because of no late work, then that's fine. So you have a couple of you that teach dual credit only, and you might be able to handle that in a bit of a different way. In general, this is the policy that our staff is finding works best, and that's 10% off immediately, and it goes down to half. And then after that, they're only getting half credit. Some of us use extra credit to make up for those points, and some of us don't. So that number 3 is kind of at your discretion. If you want to change that to something else, you can do that. The others kind of are either there because the institution has said so, or we have. Notice the speech ladder stuff here that's highlighted. Hopefully by now you've seen the introductory video to the students and you understand the speech ladder and you've maybe even looked at it. If not, I would pause this and go look at it because it's going to matter. But anyway, it's telling them very clearly that if they don't go in order, that it's quite likely that you won't grade their speech. And that, so that ladder is a very important part of this process and a part of keeping our students retained and engaged and on task to complete that speech. So pay careful attention to the language there. Mandatory assignments, this also must stay in because there are certain assignments that even if they've got it 100% in the class, otherwise, that if we don't have this little thing because we need it for assessment, that we can't, I tell them we can't give you credit until you have this. I don't say you're going to fail because it's a bit strong, and usually I can scare them enough with just saying, hey, you've got an A in the class. I need you to submit this, and you haven't done so yet, and I can't give you credit until it's done, which implies that maybe their grade is being held or whatever. Handle that however it works best for you in terms of enforcement, but you need to know that your assessments have to come through. And so if, we keep hitting, no, the student did not submit the assignment on the assessment part, that's going to bite you in the butt. So what we need to do is make sure that those come in, and that's why all speeches, Module L, the latter, because it leads to the speeches, the exams, and the assessment uploads have to be done. So anyway, and then the internet access thing, there's some points in there about them having a backup plan. So read over this section in particular and make sure you add in whatever other things you want to add in. And again, if there's something you need to revise or do differently, just talk to us. But a lot of that is, again, legal language that work with how this particular course shell functions. So decide what you would like to do. This is a schedule for the class. Let me open it. So you're going to want to go in here and put, after you've worked out your dates and deadlines, you're going to go in here and it's telling you by clicking on the edit what is due where. So the first unit is usually A5 small group discussion. I don't know what gallery walk is. I'm going to have to look more closely, but the topic is course orientation and self-awareness. It's module A, and the first two in the speech ladder. And then right over here is where you want to put when that is due. Now, if you're teaching dual credit, that's going to have a split due date usually. Usually we do half of module A each week. Actually, with dual credit, I usually do module A and then module B and then the speech ladder ones. But you can figure out kind of how you want to time that and adjust these things accordingly. But just make sure that your deadlines all begin to appear there. If it's highlighted, that's the key to them that it's a mandatory assignment. So there's that. Let me go back. That's an area where, your course timing and editing will come in. You might not want to start there. You might want to start doing coursework and go back to this, but that is an area that needs to be edited. This stuff, I'm not even going to open. You read if you're not familiar with it after the presentations and stuff, but this is the general core objectives I went over in that one video. This is the core statement saying why we're in the core and how we meet the requirements. And then this is their learning outcomes from the ACGM that we went over in our other video. So you know all that already, just don't change the language there because it's there to protect you. This is program level outcomes in case they happen to be a speech major. I'm not sure what's going on with PSL 04, so we'll fix that, but probably in the future. I've tried to fix it twice. It's not critical, but again, don't change the language there. Odessa College policies, read them, understand them, but it's not critical. They just don't change them. It's Odessa College's stuff. And they push that through. So if something changes, like the library moves and it has a different link or a different phone number or address needs to go in somewhere, they will push those updates through for you so you don't have to do it. And then the other thing is student support and technical support. All this, of course, stays the same. And then there is a folder here for resources. It may or may not show. We may add things as we go along. I don't think we have anything in there right now. Those resources are listed in our shell, so in a separate spot. So I will probably go back in later tonight and add a note about that so that students aren't looking at that. But over time, we'll probably add some resources there. If you have some things that you think would be good for students to have as a reference, let us know and we'll put them in there. So, and everyone can share that way. Okay, so that's the only really major edit you need to do is your faculty information and the deadlines and dates, and look over the course policies and make sure you can, everything you want to have said is in there. The next thing you need to do is click on coursework. And up here at the top is an instructor resource file. Hopefully you've already seen it. There's a long talk from me, where hopefully not as long as this one. I don't know how these are going to pan out. But anyway, this is going over the master course shell and why we're doing it. And then there's a link here for you to look at what we've told students about the course that will help you tremendously in understanding it as well if you're new to this course. And then here's the most important thing. This is going to really be where you want to set those deadlines and dates. Now I'm going to tell you a small cheat that has worked for me. A lot of times I don't do that chart that I just showed you that had all those deadlines and dates. It's a formatting thing. It's a template that the institution likes. Sometimes I will put this in there instead. And the way you do that is you start by filling it out. So Module A is an introduction to public speaking. You're going to go in. You are going to say, these assignments are due. And for the due date, I always highlight that. So I'm going to put due September 1st at 11:59 p.m. The reason we're doing these in here and not doing them in ways you might have done it before, like in the gradebook or the automatic updated thing, is because this is a master shell. We're going to keep reusing it. So we're going to change these by hand. And that way it doesn't affect the student calendars and stuff. So this is where that goes. And then I always highlight that so they can see that due date is right there. So you highlight by clicking the little paintbrush. Anyway, I'm going to undo that. So you want to set all of your due dates and deadlines up. You can reformat that if there's this better way you think it works. There's no mandatory formatting there, but we do require at the bottom now that you have this information down there. If it's a dual credit course, you also need to add what you're going to include in each 6 weeks, like I told you. So down here at the bottom, I would say the first 6 weeks will cover modules A and B. Make sure those are complete. The date I'm going to take that grade is, and make sure you have a very clear date and timeline. And I would leave yourself some buffer in case they want to fix something or they didn't realize something. But anyway, that's where that goes, is underneath of there. Later on, I'll probably email it to you this term, but I'll do a sample dual credit thing for everyone that's teaching that. Oh, excuse me, it's very late. I've been recording videos all night. You'll see them soon, probably. So anyway, here is actually where we've been putting our resources, and I will probably just copy that into that other section that was above there as well. So there's that. And this is the cheat sheet for students and a speech delivery checklist. If you have some additional resources you think are good, that would be the place to put them. If you need help with that, contact Susie, your course specialist. Here is this famous speech letter module. I don't think there's anything in there that you would adapt, but let me make sure. Yeah, my video is in there. So on each of these, I've also added a video explaining the objectives that they're trying to meet, because it's a new thing we have to really tie to make sure they're grounded, and this is why you have to do this, and these are the objectives we're learning. So you're going to hear that till you're feeling beaten down with it, I'm afraid, on these. But I went ahead and initially recorded all of these tonight so that you all have something to go with immediately, and you don't have to do that. Over time, if you're going to teach this course for us a lot, I would like you to re-record those so they see their own instructor presenting that. But if you don't have time to right now, we're trying to get the semester launched, that's fine. Use mine, it's fine. It's there, and especially if it's your first time teaching out of this course shell, you may not want to make that recording. There's no possible way. I would say teach it 2 or 3 times before you do that. But if you're a veteran with this, and you, especially if you've been using the shell, I would go ahead and make your own recordings, because it's going to help those students connect with you better. In Module A, there is actually an assignment up here where it's A1, Introduction to the Course. You want to probably add your own. Right here is where I would like you, if you at all can, and if you're teaching online. If you're teaching face-to-face, it's not as important, but hybrid and online, try to do a little intro video there. A lot of you already have one. That's a great place to transfer that over. It's like, hi, this is who I am. Try not to make anything course specific in there. So it should be about you, your family, your interests, your hobbies, whatever you would say to students on the first day of class. I'm excited to get to know you. You know, that whole spiel we all give. But I would avoid saying this is for this specific course or this is this textbook or not. In this case, we don't use one, just because you might want to reuse that if you're teaching more than one subject for us. So keep that in mind. If you're face-to-face only, that's going to happen in class, and you can kind of get by with not putting that video in there. But before your course opens, that would be a top priority thing with me, that you try to get that video in there so they get a good experience of who you are. And after you make it, go ahead and email that out and send it as a course link to them so they can get that introduction. This is the Blackboard orientation video you want to make sure your students have seen, and you might want to watch that too. And then as we get into this unit, there's really not a whole lot here I would change. By now, everything's going to get redundant if I keep going through it again because you've seen it in the student video. But that everything else should be something that if you adapted, it's just to, help you teach it better. One thing I would suggest you do as soon as you get your course done and ready to set up for this semester, and ideally before it opens, ask Jennifer Virgin to open a private master for you that's different from this master. I'm actually using the term Scratchpad for that. I'm changing my courses to that so I don't get it confused when I'm looking at things. But go ahead and upload whatever changes you make into that shell so that you don't have to keep redoing your faculty information and everything, your video, those kinds of things every semester. And then what you want to do is wipe out everything else. So after you make that upload, wipe out everything else. So in Module A, the only thing that you would want to upload is this one little video. And that way, when we transfer the master shell over, your video is still there. Or if you just want to store those elements somewhere. Because as we revise the master shell in the department area, you just don't want to lose the work you've already done. So if you need help with that process, contact your course specialist or me. But I would do it before the semester opens so you're not having to clear out student data on top of that. So overall, I think that is all you need to adapt. I don't think there's anything else in here that's personalized. If I come across that, I'll send you guys an email. But that's really all you have to do to get this course up and ready and running, other than familiarize yourself with it. Again, really glad you're here. Let me look at, I was about to cut off, but I want to make sure. Oh, yes, there was something else I wanted to show you. I'm going to go back here. At some point in the course, after they've done Module B, which has the Freedom Writers assignment in it, turn that in, and you've graded it and given them feedback, and you've gotten the ones back from people who are still, slushing through it or having to rewrite. Go all the way to the bottom of the course shells here and see this assessment portfolio. I think I touched on this briefly before. Go ahead and click on that. Here, the critical thinking and communication assessment, you'll see that's them uploading again after they've already gotten their feedback and made corrections. They only get one shot at this, so it's really important. But they're going to click on this and they're going to upload it here. And I'm going to probably have to change this to an assignment. I just realized that because I don't think there is a way to upload it. Let me see. Yeah, so I will change this tonight. But it'll look pretty much the same. It'll just have a different icon right here. So then they'll click that, they'll upload it once, and then they'll be done. It shouldn't count against them in the grading whatsoever. So anyway, let me know if you have trouble with that, and we will get that together. The other one comes in Module G towards the end. So we want to make sure that those things are happening. Okay. We might have to actually give them a small point value for uploading it, like 5 points or something, but I will get with my instructors on the grading process for that in order for that to work. Okay. I'm going to do a separate video on the gradebook and probably not tonight. I'm going to probably go ahead and try to get this out to everybody. So you guys have a great evening, and I will talk to you later.